The former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd has been moved to a new federal prison. Derek Chauvin has been transferred from the federal prison in Tucson.
Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I got an update. Yes, our famous cop, Derek Chauvin, back in the news. Before I get started, please check me out on all our social platforms. Check me out. Subscribe, like. We're getting back into it. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming up real soon. Now, let me jump right into the Derek Chauvin incident. Yes, he's been in the news lately. Why? He is being transferred. In fact, he is being transferred to the prison. He is at a prison that I was at right now. It's called FTC Oklahoma. It's really not a prison. It's a transportation center. It's literally where they have a hangar at the airport. Yes, Oklahoma Airport has a prison. It's about 12 stories high, 13 stories, something like that. And each floor has different levels of prisoners on it. And there's planes coming and going. It is in the center of the United States. And it shoots planes to the East Coast. And it shoots planes to the West Coast and the South and the North every single day. Yes, it does. Well, Derek Chauvin is there. Just to give you a little hint, so you know I'm trying to give you all the info I can. If you go on BOP.gov, that's Bureau of Prisons, BOP.gov, and you look up Derek Chauvin, you'll find out right where he is, what his number is, and how that works, actually. And you can follow. Now, they're not going to tell you where he's going. He left Tucson. Let me tell you the difference where he was at. Derek Chauvin was in Tucson prison until he got stabbed late last year in 2023. He got stabbed by a guy for really no apparent reason, just because he's a notoriety. Of course, he was a famous inmate, is what the guy said. A guy named John Tursak. He stabbed him 22 times. First of all, it's a pretty weak stabbing. You don't kill the guy in 22 times. That's a pretty weak stabbing. I think I can get the guy in 22. But obviously, we don't promote any of that here. We're just talking about what's happening with Derek Chauvin. So Derek Chauvin was at a facility called Tucson, FCI Tucson, which was actually a medium security facility, held about 700-something inmates. I'm sure there's about 1,000 inmates in that place. But they had what they call a special unit. The special unit, we used to call them cheese factories or rat factories or, cheese hotels, because that's where the cops or a snitch or somebody like that major would be going. Now, don't get me wrong, they put the snitches all over, and they actually got Derek Chauvin. He's in a facility where there's other people like that. Now, remember, whenever you're in federal prison, people, anything can happen. Derek Chauvin, you got to remember, we're going to watch this case, and I hope I'm around for this whole time. Derek Chauvin's going to be out of prison in about 12 years. Yes, he got sentenced to 21 years in prison, but time flies. His sentence will run what they call concurrently, which means he had a state sentence and he had a federal sentence. If you have them run concurrently, that means they're running together, like mine were. If they're running consecutively, that means you have to do the 21 and then do another 21. Well, he doesn't have to do that, so he is getting out. Just a little bit of an update. I know people wanted to know. The other 3 cops that were on the case with George Floyd when he was killed with Derek Chauvin on his knee on his neck, there were 3 other cops. 2 of them got 3 and 3.5 years, and the other guy got 57 months. He didn't think he did anything wrong, I guess. And listen, I get it. Those guys were rookies. It's hard even for me, and I said it at the time, to hold these guys accountable for what's going on, knowing Derek Chauvin was the training officer. Derek Chauvin was their boss. How do you tell your boss stop something? I mean, obviously you have to, but it's not an easy thing to do, people. So I can understand the hardship that these other guys had. So where this comes in, will he get stabbed and what facility is he going to? First of all, Derek Chauvin did not have high points. Let me explain how points work. When you get sent to a facility in the Bureau of Prisons, your past history, the crime you committed, and the violence on your crime will put you at a level of a prison that's commensurate with what you did. So if you did check writing, you're going to go to a camp. There's no violence involved. If you did armed robberies like myself, you're going to go to a maximum security prison because there's violence involved. If you're a low-level drug dealer or even a drug dealer without violence at all, you're not going to go to a maximum security prison. Now, time of sentence has a lot to do with it as well. Obviously, if you give a guy a life sentence, you're not going to put him in a camp where he can walk out of the place because, of course, he's going to leave. I mean, I would. So, now, Derek Chauvin was a police officer before this, so he had no criminal history. His crime, although it's violent, the people are going to say it was a misjudgment. They can do a lot of things. I don't know how the PSI read. I did read it, and I did go through it, and I just don't remember at this moment. But he's not going to be going. He was originally sent to a medium security facility. If anything, Derek Chauvin could go to even a low facility. Now, a low facility will still have a fence and barbed wire and all that. It's not going to be a camp. But he's not going to be going to a maximum security prison. Will he be going to another cheese factory or another, like WITSEC, we call them, witness protected places? They have places for police officers and high-profile people like that. He might. I don't know. Here's a little bit of a little heads up. Oklahoma is the Federal Transportation Center in Oklahoma City, right at the airport. Now, he goes from there. I'm predicting Derek Chauvin goes east, and I'll tell you why. And I'm going to take a wild guess, and this is a wild guess, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think he's going to be going to upstate New York. I'm just thinking he's going to upstate New York because I know there's a factory up there that houses cops and stuff like that. So, and there's also one down near in the Atlanta area. There's one in Florida area. So there are, but I'm just guessing. Now, I could be totally wrong. He could be going to the West Coast, but let's see who is right. I am saying he's going to the Northeast. That's my prediction, and only my prediction. Either that or Florida. Florida happens to be one of the biggest prison states in the country. They have the facility with the most inmates at it. It's called Coleman Complex. Federal Bureau of Prisons, Coleman Complex. It's in Central Florida, not far from Orlando, and it's a massive complex with 2 maximum security prisons, a medium security prison, a low prison, and a camp. So he's got about 10,000 inmates. So that's what you're going. So there is the update. Derek Chauvin being transferred. He is being transferred for his safety. He was in the hospital for a while. Obviously, he's out. I don't envy Derek Chauvin for having to get on Con Air. I've been on Con Air 16 times more, maybe 20. It's not a fun place. You're in shackles. He's not going to be in he's not a high pro. He's not a dangerous inmate, so he's not going to be in a black box. He will be in belly chains. He will be in leg irons, and he will be cuffed the whole time, never getting out of those cuffs until he reaches a holding cell. So I don't envy him for that. I do know his journey will be a little bit better when he gets to where he's going, because traveling in the Bureau of Prisons is not luxury. You're not going first class, people. You're not getting extra frequent flyer miles for that either. So Derek Chauvin, you're in the BOP. You're going to be here, and we're going to keep an eye on you.